All right, what's going on, football fans? We are here with another episode of Cheetah.
And the cheese.
Uh,
NFL football's back, baby.
That's back. We back. We're here to give you the greatest content on this planet Earth for all you fantasy football fans.
Yes, sir. We back, baby. We
we,
back.
we're going to have some great content for you guys this year. And last year, obviously, during COVID, we were going live on Mondays, Thursdays, Saturdays just to try to get you all this content. But we are just going live on Saturdays from on out. Regular lives hit us. We both coach football in high school. So, first thing we want to talk about, okay, get this thing off rolling. What you think about that Tampa Bay Bucks Dallas Cowgirls game, huh?
I thought it was a great way to start off the football season. We're back in regular. The stadium was absolutely jam packed, full, ready to go. In my opinion, haters can hate if they want to. I would lean more toward Tampa than Dallas anyway, but I think Dallas should have won that game and could have won that game. I thought it was great to go. I think Dak Prescott looked extremely well. Neither one of the teams wanted to run the ball. I mean, both of them were throwing 60 plus attempts. I mean, I think it was maybe 12 attempts rushing on both of the sides, but it was a good way to start it off. I was very impressed with the play calling with Mike McCarthy. I thought Dallas did what they were supposed to do. I think Dak looked, like I said, extremely well after an injury. Multiple injuries coming back. Tom Brady can still sling that thing. Does Father Time catch up with him toward the end of this year, though? That's one of my main keys. But I was excited, man. It had me at the edge of my seat, which is what you want football to do. And I thought it was fantastic. CD Lamb looked good. Um,
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I
As
thought it was a
much
great game.
as I dislike Tom Brady and all that stuff, you know how I feel about that. You give him the ball with a minute 30 left in the game,
Can't
something's gonna happen. So
can't do it. Yeah,
that's not a good way for Dallas to kind of miss those field goals and give him an actual chance to get down there and get in field goal range. Yes, it was PI. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. They don't call that stuff on Tom Brady at that late in the game, but you can't argue with the refs. Still gotta get there. Still gotta make the plays. It's not that one play doesn't decide the ball game because they still would have another, obviously. But yeah, I was very, very impressed with those wideouts and how they came to play. CD had a lot of drops at the beginning, but he came in clutch with a
he
pretty big
did.
touchdown. And then Amari Cooper, a lot of people slept on him, even in the fantasy football world. Just got drafted so late and he balled out, man. So
He did.
that's I like Cowboys. I think they might be potentially winners of that division just because of it's the NFC East, but it's still a long road ahead of them. Injuries could always
Yeah.
happen, but that
Yeah.
defense too. I like that Micah Parsons kid. He didn't get too many tackles, but he was a force to be reckoned with. So
Yeah.
recapping that game, me and Cheese both picked the Bucks to win,
We
and we
did.
we were sweating, you know.
We did. I
But
was. I
like you
was.
said,
You talked about Parsons. He didn't. He played his role, and I think he's becoming and installing a role of a quarterback of that defense. Though they needed that. They needed someone to step up to say, "Hey, I'm going to control." Looking at David for as middle linebacker for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he controls that defense. Dallas has been needing something like that for the past few years, and I think Parsons is that guy. But I enjoyed it, man. It was a great game.
yeah, it was fun to watch. They both had obviously the game plan to throw the football. It was a showdown,
Yeah.
and coming out week one, that was pretty dope. So
Well, like we said preseason, you're not going to be able to run the ball. Tampa Bay's got one of the best front seven, right?
yep.
So they knew that coming in. They couldn't run the ball, but they were successful with passing the ball. So it was good to watch.
All right, so that was the quick recap of the Tampa Bay game. What we want to get into now is all our key matchups, baby. And the first one we're gonna talk about and what to watch for. We got the Panthers playing the Jets at home in Charlotte. Revenge game. Sam Darnold, Robbie Anderson coming back versus the Jets with a whole brand new staff, new head coach, brand new quarterback, all this stuff going down, right? I
Yep.
still think Carolina gets the job done at home. I think Sam Darnold's a little bit underrated. Christian McCaffrey, one of the best running backs in the league. And we have so many weapons for Darnold to do. And as long as our quarterback can throw it over 10 to 15 yards, which we haven't had the past couple of seasons, Teddy Bridgewater did somewhat okay. I'm real, really excited to see if this Sam Darnold kid can go back to playing like he was in college at USC. Adam Gase is not his coach anymore. He's actually got a good OC in Joe Brady. He's going to get the ball out quick, get these guys open, put him in the right positions. And again, it helps to have the best running back in the league on your team. And our defense, sneaky, man. I'm telling you, they're one of the last fantasy defenses you could pick up. But I I'm not trying to be biased, but I think they could finish in the top 10 for sure with all those guys that we have in the secondary, and our front seven is pretty solid as well. What you thinking about this game?
I like it, and like what you said, Brady was never going to turn Teddy Bridgewater into a dynamic downfield thrower. It could never happen. And I think Darnold was put in handcuffs by Gase, and
He's a
especially if
moron.
you look at game plan wise with all of his short throws, he never let Darnold just beam it out in a high percentage rate. I think Sam Darnold is slept on. I think Sam Darnold is in a good fit right now at Carolina. Defense for Carolina is always going to be scrappy. They're always going to be able to. They're always going to show up. They're always going to be scrappy. They're always going to bring that heat. My main thing is I think definitely the Panthers is going to win this one. I think Zach Wilson is going to impress some people. He's going to make the Jets look better than what they've looked in a handful of years. But my thing is, like you said, Christian McCaffrey, the wide receivers that y'all have with Moore and Anderson, they have things to prove. Darnold and Anderson was already a connection in New York. I think that the high-powered offense that they could run against the Jets defense right now is just going to be too much for the Jets to handle. Um, like I said, Zach Wilson, I think he's definitely going to impress some people and do what he's supposed to do. I like the kid. A lot of people across the league like the kid. But I don't think it's going to be enough to take on them Panthers. So I'm definitely going Panthers right there. It's going to be exciting to see. I want them to bring one home from Charlotte. But I think, under this new offensive coordinator, I don't think that Sam Darnold is going to be under as much handcuffs. I think he's going to let him rip the ball a little bit, especially, down the field. But especially if they can get the run game started and established, that's just going to open it up for Sam Darnold to throw it to Moore and Anderson and really light things up, man.
So three things about the Jets that not a lot of people probably even noticed, but at the end of the year last year, that defense started playing balls to the wall and
Yep.
not being that 0 and 17 team that we all thought was going to happen. They ended up getting a dub out there late in the season. So you're going to wonder if that momentum and those young guys are going to step up to the plate in this game. They got a brand new head coach, which is the D coordinator from San Francisco. Soleil, I think his last name is.
It is,
I
yeah.
think he's going to get those guys going because he did great things in San Fran. And then the third thing, new face and a new place, is Corey Davis. And he's kind of undershadowed over in Tennessee for all those years, and now he gets put on a team that needs help from Zach Wilson, which I think he's going to have to play from behind a lot of these games this year. So keep
Yep.
Corey Davis on your radar in fantasy if you might have him on your waivers. I doubt you have him on the waivers, but him, Crowder, and obviously Denzel Mims, that's going to be interesting wide receiver corps, especially if you're going to be
Mhm.
playing from behind all year. Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm going to take Panthers this game. What you think?
Yeah, I'm gonna take Panthers as well. But just to add on to what you said, I mean, fantasy wise, they're gonna have to utilize somebody receiving core like you talked about. So I think it's a great pickup if you get one of those guys off of the New York Jets. But I'm definitely going Panthers right now. McCaffrey healthy, that's hard to go against. That man can do it all. And like I said, man, I I like Sam Darnold in Carolina with the offensive coordinator that they have.
Yeah,
I
he's
like it.
definitely gonna have to prove something. Next game we're gonna talk about. Okay, I'm gonna skip ahead since No, actually, I'm gonna leave that one for last. But Cardinals versus Titans. Um, Going into this matchup, I'm pretty sure Tennessee is obviously gonna want to run the ball. They've got two big dominant wide receivers in AJ Brown and Julio Jones. So Arizona's defense actually is one of the last in the leagues. But then you look at Arizona's offense too, and they're kind of an air raid with Kyler Murray who can put things done with his legs. Running back position's kind of questionable with Chase Edmonds usually playing the third down back role, but they did bring over James Conner to try to get that rough,
Yeah.
tough running in there.
Yeah.
But is that O line going to hold up? We don't know. Kyler Murray a lot was running for his life last year, so I'm wondering if they're going to give him enough time or if they can actually establish holes for the run game.
Mm-hmm.
And Tennessee, man, that defense just got better. What you thinking about this one?
Yeah. Well, what you said with the running backs coming in with Arizona. Okay, let's not run between the tackles. Let's stretch everything and tag everything with the RPO. And if it's not there, roll out and get the first down with Kyler Murray. And I think that's what they need to start going at. They're trying to build that a little bit the years that Kyler Murray's been there, but let's build it a little bit more. And I agree with you. I don't think the offensive line is going to be so sustainable. And that's a lot of questions when it's considering the NFL right now with a lot of teams. So let's stretch it. Let's get outside the tackles. Let's get fly motion. Let's get jet motion. Let's get things outside the tackles right now. And let's tag every single run play we have with an RPO. And I think that Cardinals are going to wind up doing that and can do that. Now, going back to the Titans, are they going to try to establish a run game? Yeah, you're an idiot if you don't. Derrick Henry is the king. He's running people over. Stiff arms absolutely and crazy. He can run outside the tackles, inside the tackles, inside the guard. You can give him midline. It don't even matter. And that's going to open things up for the passing game. Now, the only
One on
question I
one.
have about the Titans, does Julio Jones cause a conflict? Is it, am I reading my progression with Tannehill, or am I just pre-reading what I need to go and say, hey, I'm going to get it to him, I'm going to get it to Brown, or I'm going to get it to Jones? You know, we've seen a handful of times you put too much star power on a team, it starts changing things. We start getting away from reads and we just start trying to make one-on-one matchups. You only got 3 downs to get a first down. All right, you're putting it on fourth. So does that hinder them? That's the question that I have. I don't think it does. I think if you're Tannehill and you're looking left and you're looking right, you're feeling pretty good, and you look behind you and want to hand the ball off, you got everything that you absolutely want. The offensive line for Tennessee is not bad, especially on the left side. But does it interfere and does it hinder them a little bit to be what they kind of were last year? Because they was a good offensive team last year. Is putting too much star power on a team going to slow them down a little bit, or does it excel them to the point where nobody can stop them? I like Tennessee during this matchup. Um, Fantasy wise, I got Murray. I hope Murray goes off. I think he's going to do great this year. But I like the Tennessee's defense more so than I do the Arizona Cardinals defense. I think they got star power everywhere that you can do it. You can manage the clock. You can slow the game down. You can take shots when you need them. So I'm going to go Tennessee on this one. But my main question is it too much star power? Is it too much star power
I
from
like
two
the
different?
fact that you have to double one of them, right? Julio Jones has always been doubled his whole career, which opens up those one-on-ones with A.J. Brown, who should have been doubled all last year as well. They didn't really have that other guy. So it's going to open up one of them on those one-on-one situations that you're talking about. And then guess
Agreed.
what? If they try to take both of those guys away, you're going to just pound the rock with Henry, and then it's going to just be so hard to stop.
Well,
People
here's the
won't know
thing:
what to do.
if they don't double cover somebody, they're not going to run man. They're idiotic. So what do? You quarter the field. You blanket it with cover four, and if you're blanketing it with cover four, you got six in the box. If you got six in the box, I take Derrick Henry all day long. You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
so I'm liking the Titans against that situation.
I'm also going to take the Titans, but flipping on the other side, Arizona's defense, Isaiah Simmons, the Clemson guy, he had kind of a wish-washy first rookie year, and they got better. They signed J.J. Watt, so putting that on the D-line is obviously going to help them. They got Buda
Yeah.
Baker, who's obviously one of the better safeties in the league. Patrick Peterson ended up going to the Vikings this year, so that's a veteran leader that's gone, and now the young bucks got to step up. I
Yep.
honestly couldn't
Yep.
tell you who the names are in the secondary, but that Simmons kid, I really was impressed. He was a top 5, top 7 draft pick, and I think he might have been 8 actually. Anyways, he got to come out and play ball. They're expecting a lot of good things out of him this year, so let's see if that Arizona defense actually takes a step forward.
Yeah.
After watching the greatness of the GOAT, Tom Brady, it'll be tough to sit through the rest of the games this Sunday. It was a great game to get this season started, that's for sure. But this is the NFL, and it's getting better and better every single year. I feel like this is about to be a fantasy crisis of points,
Yes.
points, points, because
Yes.
nobody's gonna know how to stop these guys.
Yes.
Anyways, going to the next game, Kate. This is a big matchup in my eyes with the Eagles and the Falcons. You know me, Cheese. I have been a Jalen Hurts fan. I've been trying to get his ass in there for the Eagles ever since the beginning of the season. I just think that dude's so dynamic. You go to 2 college universities and you start and you take both those universities to the playoffs. Obviously, you get benched at Bama and then Tua becomes relative, right? But then you go to Oklahoma and that's in a different offense, going and doing the same thing, being a leader, going making the plays happen. You can do it with your legs, you can do it with your arm. We saw a lot of good things. He's pretty inaccurate right now, but he's got to adapt. And the speed of the NFL is totally different. And I've got a lot riding on Jalen Hurts to be very successful in the league. And, the Eagles helped him out by getting a former Heisman Trophy winner this past year in Devontae Smith, whose route running is pretty impeccable. But what other receivers do they really have? Jalen Rager coming back off an injury. We'll see if he can actually do something. Quez Watkins in the slot. Who knows? And then those two tight end sets. He's going to have to check the ball down a lot. And that run game with Miles Sanders was very inefficient last year. He's always hurt. So I think he's got a great head on his shoulders. I know he knows how to play football, and that defense is pretty. I would compare that defense to the Panthers and being pretty scrappy, like you said earlier.
Yeah,
So
always. Yeah,
that's why I'm just like, man, these Eagles could be something scary with that quarterback position kind of getting taken care of. They just got to believe in him, and he's going to mess up. He's going to make those certain mistakes because you're not giving him the time that he needed last year. But I think that he's a professional. I think he's going to get the job done. And the Falcons' defense was atrocious last year.
yep,
So I think this is a great week one
yep.
dub for those Eagles. It's my upset. This is my upset of the week. I'm taking the Eagles.
Well, we call it an upset, but do we really think that it's an upset if the Eagles beat the Falcons?
No.
You know, I think no matter what the point, no matter what the point spread says. I mean, does people across America really think that the Eagles beating the Falcons is an upset? My main thing is, I think you're right. Hurts, it, I'm with him. He's going to be a franchise quarterback, and he's going to be a very sustainable, very good quarterback in the years to come. He kills it in his leadership. I think he kills it when he's studying the play call, studying the film. He kills it in the weight room. The dude can squat and deadlift, a semi truck. The dude's going to be fine, and I think that's going to limit him when it comes to injuries, which hurts a lot of quarterbacks that we have high hopes for in a lot of time. Falcons wise, I think the Falcons offense expands more this year.
Why?
Obviously,
Because
because
Kyle
Pitts.
Pitts is the next freaking.
I like Kyle freaking Pitts, and it's not because of that Florida Gator jersey behind me. It's just that dude is a freaking monster. But we have Davis running the ball. Okay, I liked him at Carolina last year. I like his style of running. Let's get 4 yards in the cloud of dust. Let's condense the box. Let's put 7 in the box and let's spread it a little bit. Let's throw it out to Ridley. Now, my main question is, can Matt Ryan still be sustainable, or is he going to get in the way? They ain't got nothing else behind him, in my opinion. Can can he do what he needs to do? Now, Falcons defense, no. I'm not happy with anything that they're doing defensively, to be honest with you. But in all honesty, that first game that we watched, I had a big question mark on Dallas's defense as well. But the
I
way
don't know
that
if
they
the
rolled
chat's working.
coverages, the way that they sent pressure from the field, it helped them and it looked good. Can the Falcons do that versus the Eagles with not too sturdy of a receiving core for Hurts to hit? Now, if we can send pressure on Hurts, if you can get him running the ball, running for his life the whole time, he's still going to make plays. That just you're a receiver coach. When you got somebody that can roll out shift coverage, you're only giving more time for your receivers to get open, no matter who you have. They're in the league right now, so they can catch it and fall down no matter what. I'm not talking about home run shots all the way. Um, I'm excited to see what the Falcons are going to do offensively. I'm not excited to see what they're going to do defensively, and it's almost the same thing when it comes to the Eagles. I'm excited to see what Jalen Hurts can do, get in there, get the things done offensively that he needs to do. It's all about the offensive coordinator and the play calling for me when it comes to the Eagles offense. It could be really good, or it could be really mediocre. For this one right now, because the Falcons defense that I'm not so much of a fan of, and I'm kind of riding a little bit on Jalen Hurts right now to see what he can do. I'm going to go Eagles on this one. I think that they can get it done. I think that they're going to have to really water down and adjust after halftime to make sure that let's cancel out Kyle Pitts. Okay. Let's not get a linebacker on them because that's not what you want. Let's roll our coverage. Let's stick them. Let's mirror the quarterback with our Mike linebacker. Let's take our rover. Let's get him over top of Kyle Pitts and make sure that we're clouding him. If he goes outside, I'm staying with him. If he goes inside, make him rush and funnel him inside to the linebackers to make him non-existent. Even though I think he's going to be existent, but I'm going to go with the Eagles right here on this one. It's going to be a good game. It's
It's
the
a
battle of the
battle
birds.
of yeah, exactly. That's what I was about to say. The Dirty Birds,
Battle of
man.
the freaking birds. Let's see what happens. This is 50-50 for me, but I'm going to go Eagles.
What's going on, Craig? NFL is back, baby. GT 500. We'll get to the Packers here in a second,
What up,
and
Craig?
I get you. I do want to cover some of that stuff too. Not the Saints not being there. You're not really missing anything. It's just the Saints defense is still pretty damn good. So we'll get to that game here in a second. We
Always
got your
be good.
biggest Packers fan right here on Cheetah and the Cheese. So let's hold off for that. But I agree with the Eagles and trying to do whatever like that. Matt Ryan's a veteran. He's gonna know how to get his guys the ball and get it open. I think he still has a little bit left in the tank. The biggest guy that I think they're going to try to get this year is to establish run is Mike Davis. You know, he came from Carolina into the Falcons offense. He runs freaking hard. That's going to set up a lot of those play action boots that they always do. Calvin
Yep.
Ridley is fast. Russell Gage is the number 2, and then you got Kyle Pitts and Hayden Hurst. I don't know if Kyle Pitts actually goes to the tight end. I think he'll be a little bit more flexed out, getting like a Calvin Johnson role while Hayden Hurst works
Real
underneath.
flexible. Yep.
So that's what I think is going to happen in that one. Okay, moving on. We talked a lot about that one. I am excited about Jalen Hurts. Steelers versus Bills. This is a freaking AFC juggernaut matchup with the Steelers going to Buffalo to play Josh Allen. My man called that thing 3 years ago. As soon as he came out home, I was like, Josh or Cheese, this thing's gonna be he's gonna be good. And everybody was kind of doubting him. You could get him real late in fantasy drafts, and he ended up being one of the top fantasy guys in the past 2 years. So I'm real excited to see if he picks up where he left off. They have running back situation where they don't really know who's the guy, and Singletary and Moss, but they're wideouts. Stephon Diggs going over the middle, catching the ball, making plays happen. Gabriel Davis is the wide receiver 3, and I still think that kid's better. It should be a number 2, but I think they got I forgot who they picked up as their number 2, but it's an older guy. I think it's Emmanuel Sanders. Emmanuel Sanders, and he might be hurt already. And then you got Cole Beasley that's going to get thrown in there on the 4 wide sets. But watch that Gabriel Davis. He's a young cat that's trying to go and make a name for himself, and he's always been clutch for Josh Allen down the field. So that
Yeah.
offense is going to bring that to the table. And you know, Josh Allen's a dynamic duo quarterback. He can pass, he can run, he can get the ball wherever. He's a smart guy, laser arm. Um, I feel like I'm beating him off right now. But you go to the other side of the ball too. You got you got the Bills, man. That freaking defense is solid. Sean McDermott being a defensive head coach, and he's been getting those guys right. Tre'Davious White being on the corner, he's a lockdown. I feel like he's one of the top 5 corners in the league. So that defense really is gonna hold them in the games. They're gonna put a lot of points on the board just because of the style of offense. The crazy stat last year is on first down they threw the ball at least 65% of the time. They threw the ball. So we're gonna see if that trend kind of continues. On the flip side, you know, with Pittsburgh, I'm gonna let you go ahead and talk about Pittsburgh because it's the same damn thing. They got 5 receivers, a running back in Najee Harris from Bama that's gonna run over people. What you thinking?
The fact of the matter is, when we go X's and O's and we go Jimmys and Joes, they both have them. When it comes to coaching, they're both defensive. Both of these defenses are going to be good. No doubt about it. Both of these defenses are traditionally good. My thing is, when it comes down to, besides coaching, because it will come down to coaching, it'll come down to a guess blitz. It'll come down to
It's gonna come down to the punt team. What you talking about?
It'll come down to it. It'll come down to a guest blitz or a guest coverage on either one of these sides that opens up a game-winning drive for one of these guys.
Plus
now,
6
the
and a
other
half,
thing
pretty cool.
that comes to my mind is
They were at plus
Allen
7.
or Roethlisberger. I'm riding Allen way so more than Roethlisberger right now. I don't know how far Roethlisberger can go into this year right now, to be 100%
He's getting
honest.
old.
He's getting old. We're seeing a new era and a new generation of quarterbacks. It's happening in front of our eyes, ladies and gentlemen, and it's going to change. I mean, the things that we grew up on, the people that we grew up on throwing touchdowns and taking teams and staying on teams for, 7, 5, 8, 10 plus years, it's about to change on us, and it's going to have to change. I mean, that's just life within itself. I think that.
Hey, hold on one sec, Cheese. Hey, Ryan Graham, he's saying who does he start in a flex? Swift, Beckham, DJ Chark, full PPR. You got to give me 1 second. I promise you we'll get to the fantasy stuff after these key matchups, and I'll tell you all the stats that I compiled over the summer. We'll go down top 10 running backs, top 10 wide receivers, and obviously the quarterbacks kind of match up with the receivers. But I will get to that, and that is a great question. I think Beckham, just off the top of my head, I think Beckham will probably get you more points just because they're going to have to play from behind. They're going to have to stop the Chiefs, and you know how it is, stop the Chiefs, so Baker's going to have to throw that damn thing. Sorry, Chiefs, I just wanted to answer that real quick for the viewers.
The matter is on that, too, if you don't throw it for Odell Beckham, he's going to throw a damn hissy fit. They're definitely going to throw it to him on the facts of just pure emotion. Even if it's going to be in the game plan, but if not, they're going to throw it to him. I agree with you on that. Lost my train of thought because of that. I think the Steelers going into the Bills on top of that. I think the Bills come out on top. I think it is a freaking nail scratch both of these defenses are going to fight, but I really, really like how Allen can get outside the tackle and prolong plays, something that Ben Roethlisberger can't, which I think is going to be the difference of this game.
Well, you know who's going to stop that? The highest paid defensive edge rusher in the league, and T.J. Watt. He's going to try to
Yeah,
get that edge, and then T.J.
don't
Watt's
roll
going to
to
be there
that
to slap
side.
him. And I
Don't be
love
an
my
idiot.
man Josh Allen, but
Don't be an idiot. Don't boot to that side. Don't sprint out to that side. You can run sprint out and boot. If you're on the right hash and he's on the boundary, let's sprint out and let's boot to the left side. And if they can do that, because they're not going to keep flip flopping them, they're going to keep them to one side. And if they keep flip flopping them, then that's exactly what the Bills want to do.
yeah.
All right. Obviously, be smart enough. It's the NFL game plan. Sprint, boot away from them, and it's something that Roethlisberger can't do. He's going to have to stay in the pocket. Bills like bringing some heat. They like bringing at least one backer. They're going to give you 5-man pressures. They're going to cloud a good bit. They're going to man you up in unorthodox situations. So I like the Bills, especially it being in Buffalo.
I one thing that I want to mention too is that the Steelers lost Bud Dupree, who was the opposite edge rusher of T.J. Watt. They lost him. I forgot where
Boom.
he went, but that dude is
Boom.
a freak. I loved
Boom.
watching Bud Dupree and T.J. Watt just go light up quarterbacks. So is that going to hinder the run game for?
Game plan.
Yeah, put it on there. But losing that type of caliber player and then trying to replace it with somebody maybe that's either younger and still learning the playbook, not really reading things like he did. That's going to be a problem, but I think that the Pittsburgh offense can keep up with all the teams in the league. I think if they're not shitting a brick, which they did a couple games last year, they've got
Mm-hmm.
all the dynamic receivers. They've got those 2 tight ends and Eric Ebron and then that rookie from Penn State, Pat Fryermuth or some stuff like that.
Why did they shoot a brick during those games?
Because Ben wanted to beat off the football. That's all I got for you. I don't.
I agree. He's patting it way too much. He's older. The things ain't clicking as much. I agree. I got Bills in Buffalo on that one.
Yeah, I'm taking the home squad as well.
JP. Bills are going to get it done, Ruth.
Yep. Bills Nation for sure. Hopefully nobody gets killed in the parking lot whenever they go. You know how that crazy gets, the Bills Mafia.
Yeah.
All right, so we're pretty much the same on these games so far. We're gonna skip over that Packers Saints game because I got you GTO. Um, ooh, that's an interesting set. He said that T.J. Watt's good, but he's not a game changer. I think Nick Bosa is better, and I mean the money don't lie in Pittsburgh, man. He's the highest paid edge rusher now, and I
I
love
think
Nick
they're
Bosa too.
both just as good. I
Yeah.
think they're both just as good. And I think at any given point, it's all about game planning. They both can change a game with good game planning, but I think you can also game plan against them.
Well,
It's
Bosa,
all about what coordinators do.
he's more of a hand down, get after the quarterback, stop the run game, and T.J. Watt's that hybrid guy. He's reading it and then he's going back into the flats. He's going hook to curl.
Yeah.
He's getting back into pass coverages too, and they use him very well. I love what Mike Tomlin and them do with that. But yeah,
Defense coach.
that's crazy right there. I'm gonna skip ahead to the Seahawks Colts game. Okay, I'm gonna save the Packers for last because I'm gonna let my boy Cheese take that one over. But these Seahawks at the Colts, we finally know who's the quarterback for the Colts. Carson Wentz apparently healthy. Their running back, Jonathan Taylor, one of the best O-lines in the league. I still stand by that statement that I made last year. I do think their O-line is pretty dang good. They're in a weak division, but Michael Pittman is the guy to watch. For my stance, Seattle was one of the worst passing defenses in the league, and if Carson Wentz wants to even show these haters how good he still could be, and he's partnered with Frank Reich again, Pittman's going to have to be that guy to get open. T.Y.'s out with a injury, but I still think he's getting old. He's kind of falling off the cliff. And then you got Paris Campbell coming back home for injury. And then you got Zach Pasquale, who's kind of just an average get open receiver. We'll see if those guys can get it done. Mo Alley Cox, kind of a tight end that falls off the radar too. But that running game opens up all that pass and stuff just like it always has. And if Carson Wentz can't, I think he's the one that beats the football off the most. He's just sitting back there waiting. Then he gets hit. I hated watching him in Philadelphia. That's why I wanted Jalen Hurts to take over so bad. But we'll see if he wants to do it. He's a big dude. I watched him on the Pat McAfee show. He has a thing on YouTube where he goes live and he does all that stuff. He's a very big Carson Wentz fan.
Yeah.
But I don't know. He's got to prove something to me.
We should have our own show then too.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Carson Wentz was one of the worst in turning the ball over last year. I don't care if he's got a good offensive line now. He's still turning the ball over. Carson Wentz has to show me a lot of stuff right now. With, in all honesty, Carson Wentz to me can have a really good thing going. We're running the ball. We're doing quick outs. We're doing rolls. We're getting our hitches. We're tagging at Hazel, things like that, and he'll still mess it up. He'll still. It's almost a Tony Romo effect for me. It's like, Dad, gone, Cowboys gonna win this game. Oh no, he just got his neck broken, threw the ball down on the ground. Now it's a fumble recovery. Now the other team has it with 2 minutes left to go. Now they're gonna go score the game. I love the Colts offensive line. I absolutely love it. I love watching it. I love the Colts defense. Seattle's gonna go in there. Russell Wilson's gonna go in there knowing he has a really big task ahead of him to be able to score points. But he's done it before. He's still got a run game. Their offensive line is still going to be a little bit better than mediocre. I think he's got Metcalf that he can throw the ball to. That is a genetic freak that might be turned into a Calvin Johnson type guy. Okay, turning into, not is. Make sure you understand that, people that's watching. Turning into. So, I can't trust Wentz right now. I can't tell. He looked absolutely awful at. He was the worst quarterback last year and turning the ball over. That's facts speaking. That's not off of my brain. That's facts. So he's got to show me a lot. Now, does the run game, does a good offensive line slow things down for him? Does he come back and have to prove things? Now, has Carson Wentz been absolutely phenomenal at times in this NFL during his career? Absolutely. Absolutely. When Carson Wentz came into the league, I was like, this is an Allen to me. This is a dude that can truck people, sling the ball down the field, zip it into the tight coverage, read good stuff. But
Ever since he tore his ACL, ever since,
every injury continuously
yeah.
just like neat, 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 neat. Now what do you do on a brand new team, brand new offensive coordinator, brand new scheme? Now, I think it's 50-50. Could things hit and he freaking run with it game one? Absolutely. Can it go absolutely down south and it still looks like the old Carson Wentz that we seen last year statistically? Yes, it can. Now, prolonging into long term, I'm not going to talk about too much, but prolonging into it long term, I think Carson Wentz has a big, big shoe to fill to be successful game in, game out as a whole season that comes. I'm going to take Seattle in this. I think Russell Wilson can control his team down. I think they can slow the clock down. I think defensively, they also have a defensive, tight-minded head coach. They were really awful last year when it was coming into terms of slowing the passing down defensively. I think they built that a little bit in the offseason, and he's got to go in there head coach-wise, and that's the first thing that he's got to target. He don't have to really look too much of his offense. Let's stay defensively. Let's sit there and let's really focus on these defensive backs, young slash a little bit slash old veteran type DBs that they have, and get things done. Let's get out. I think it's going to be another close game if Carson Wentz don't just blow it for him.
The good thing is about this game is that the Colts defense is really solid. Darius Leonard, probably one of the top linebackers in the league, is going to get it done.
Top five for me.
Yeah.
Top five.
Yeah, so he's going to go and lead that defense. They're going to run the ball because they want to take the pressure off for Wentz, and they got good three-headed running back combo, and then Pittman gets open or whatever. But on the flip side, the Seahawks didn't really do nothing for Russell to try to protect him, and he was getting pressured a lot last year. And we got GT500 saying he didn't bet the Seahawks Colts because the Seahawks always end up winning but never beating the spread or covering the spread. And every time they play in the NFC West in their own division, man, it's a low scoring game when you think it's going to be high scoring because both those teams are really good offensively, like the Rams, the 49ers, them, and the Cardinals. We're like, man, they're going to score a ton of points. Yeah. And then they end up going like 17-14, and you're just sitting here like, what the? You got all these weapons like DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett to go. But, I mean, it's a game plan.
That's what Wilson gives you, and I think that's what this game's going to be. You're going to sit there looking at it. It's going to be the ball in the hand of Russell Wilson to either sustain the lead or either get the lead to win the game.
I'm going to go opposite of you.
I never say Russell Wilson can't do it because he's done it so many times. I can't bet against it.
I'm going Colts on this one at home. They established the run. I mean, they lost, not Bobby Wagner, but the other linebacker this past year, and he went to the Raiders.
Yeah.
So I think
Right on.
they got a hole in their defense. Their secondary has always hasn't been living up to the Legion of Boom ever since Sherman and Cam
Yeah.
Chancellor.
It-
Adams did sign a huge contract for him to come on there for 4 more years, and he's a freak. I love watching Adams play
Now,
because he can do everything.
that being said, Wentz is really not good at last year reading off safeties, and he's going against one of the best safeties to read off.
Well, I'm still
It's
going
it's a
different.
question mark on both sides for me, to be honest with you. This is a 50-50 game for me.
What up, T-Ram? Panthers do not suck. Packers do. Just so you guys know, if you're looking on YouTube, I don't know why my comments aren't working going up on YouTube, but if you do want to get your comments seen on this, you can go to my Facebook page. It's the same stuff, Rumbly Cheetah 29 Gaming. Go look us up, man. Go like, follow the page, subscribe so you don't miss any more content. We're going to be doing this every single week. Just talk about key matches and stuff like that. We love your opinion. We do a document, 6-pack of questions that
Yeah,
we send out on the Facebook page. So go
yeah.
make sure to like that stuff and follow us if you want to kind of be involved. We love this stuff. We love football,
Yeah.
so this is why we do it.
Hey, and tagging on top of that, we really do look at what y'all say, and we really do sit back and expect and anticipate things for y'all to bring in, man. So send everything. Nothing's a dumb question. Nothing's a dumb statement. We might be saying dumb statements the whole time, but hey, that's football. You never know what's going to happen.
You don't.
You know.
But based on our stats last year, we were right there with the fantasy pros, man. Just wins, losses. So
Nah, we gotta do it again this year.
we're doing
Last
it.
year don't mean nothing. We gotta do it again this year, but yeah, let's
We're
get
gonna
it
be
right.
doing it. Okay, next one, a last one that I saved for last, or the last one that made no sense. But Packers versus the Saints. It's not even in the New Orleans arena. It's actually gonna be over there in Jacksonville.
Thank you.
Packers actually wearing their home jerseys, which is crazy, but they're both basically the road teams. This guy I was asking, there was a -3 now. I got the spread at -4.5, and I took that one, and now it's down to -3. I don't know what the sports bettors are thinking, but I do think, but the Saints defense has always been pretty dang good at slowing stuff down. Quarterback situation for the Saints. Jameis Winston likes to throw to the other team. He can throw that thing though, man. Like so you can't fall
Yeah.
asleep on him. And then Alvin Kamara being a top 5 running back as well, going on a Packers defense that really runs kind of a 3-4. And I don't know, can they stop the
Yeah,
run? That's a
yeah.
good O line. That's gonna be the question. Do they stop the Saints from running the ball? And then on the Packer side, I'm gonna let you go ahead and take that over because I know you know more about Packers than anybody on this planet,
Well, I'm not trying to be too
except for them.
biased, and I'm not going to be biased about it. When they suck, I'll guarantee you that I'll tell you they suck, and I've had years in my life that they have not been good. My thing is, I told everybody that Aaron Rodgers would be back, so I'm going to get that off my chest because I've been wanting to say that. I've
Sherman's
said
tight in
that
the hips.
he was going to come back. I said he was going to come back. He's back. Now, here's the thing. Take the general manager out of it. I think him and the head coach and as the offensive coordinator thing, I think they have a really good relationship. We got more firepower now than what we had last year, which is what we needed offensively. Okay, Aaron Rodgers, settle down. Quit being a little sissy. We got it. We're good. You got the things that you want. You didn't get Clay Matthews, but you can't get everything in life. Okay, we're good. That's not even an offensive guy anyway.
Did your left tackle
But,
die?
huh?
Is he ACL torn or was that last year?
Who?
Left tackle, the guy that's always chugging beers.
Left tackle. He will not be starting this game. I do not believe. I don't think it's his ACL. It's a shoulder. I believe he'll be out for a few games. But we also got a guy from Tennessee that looks almost exactly like David Bakhtiari that will be in that left tackle spot that will be able to hold it down. He's a veteran type guy. Be good to go. Now I think we went into New Orleans last year in the Superdome, beat the Saints with Drew Brees when they were firing on all cylinders. I expect the same thing. Now, does it come differently year by year? Yes, it does. I think Aaron Rodgers still fanatically shows exactly what he's shown year after year after year. We got guys in the slot now when it comes to Rodgers and when it comes to
Amari Rodgers.
yeah, Amari Rodgers. And then when it comes to Randall Cobb now, we got guys in the slot that can spread the ball. Tanya's still going to look good. We still got guys on the outside when it comes to Lazard, when it comes to Devontae Adams, which I think is one of the best receivers in the league, not being even biased. Check his stats. He's awesome. Now, defensively, we got more corners, which is what we needed. What we needed against that Tampa defense. Come on, Kevin King. I'm tired of looking at you in the face. But we got some new guys that can go in there and help sustain, give us some more depth, help slow things down. We did the job that we needed to do against New Orleans last year. It's not in the Superdome, thank God. I think that, now that being said, let's jump to the New Orleans Saints side. Yeah, we stopped Kamara last year. He's still going to be extremely hard to stop. They're still going to try to get him outside the tackles when it comes to short check down passes, and they're still going to run the ball with them. Obviously, I like our front seven. I think we're going to be all right, pretty much there. Jameis Winston is going to surprise some people. Now, can he come up to the, especially game one? Especially game one. Can he do enough to go in there against the Packers, who in the last 2 years have been in the NFC Championship and hadn't got past it? Whatever, that being said. But can he do enough to win the game when it comes besides your offensive opportunities, Rodgers, my offensive opportunities? Our defense in New Orleans Saints is good. They're always going to be scrappy and always going to be good. That's one of them top 10, 15 teams in the league, top half teams in the league that I think are always going to be a scrappy defense no matter what. When you come and you play the New Orleans Saints, you're going to make sure that you're going to have to be on your P's and Q's. They're going to slap you in the mouth no matter what. Now, Breeze is out. Did they start changing some of the game plan? They have to. Now, when they change the game plan, I don't think they expand it by any means with Wilson. I think they condense it. Now, that being said, when you start condensing things, it makes it more easier. It takes new players, heads out of a funnel and making sure that they can do exactly what they need to do in a good, fashionably, timely manner, and it's not too much on top of them. But I know they're going to send pressure on Wilson. Can he take it? I don't think so. I'm obviously going to take Green Bay, not just being biased or anything like that. We got the job done, what we needed to get done last year. I think if we can just control the ball, not give any turnovers, Green Bay can get it done. Saints is going to be a little bit better what people are thinking with Breeze being gone. I do believe that. I do think that Winston is going to be a lot better than what we expect. He's going to be a little bit more of a check down. He's going to be able to condense the box, throw it over the top on you because he has an arm that he can sling it downfield. He does have people that he can sling it downfield to. I think it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good test for the Green Bay Packers. I think it's going to be a good test for the New Orleans Saints to see exactly where they're at and to expose their weaknesses to help them fix that for that NFC South type division. But I'm going to have to take Green Bay on this one. I think they just have too much firepower, and I think their defense is – I think offensively and defensively Green Bay has progressed from last year, and I think New Orleans has stayed the same defensively, and I think they decreased offensively. That's what I'm going to have to go with.
Yeah, I'm going to go Green Bay just because I put money on them as well. So I don't think the Saints – I don't know. I think they haven't figured out. Sean Payton's a mastermind, so he probably has some packages for Taysom Hill to still go back there and be the quarterback and all that stuff. So he's gonna get some of that. Hopefully the Packers are ready for that. But I'm gonna take Green Bay. They're usually a slow starting team anyways, and they play very well mid-season to end season, obviously, and then usually end up in the playoffs and then lose in the playoffs, which honestly they shouldn't have lost in the playoffs. But that's another story for another day. But I'm taking Packers too. I think y'all got a good squad, and Aaron Rodgers on his last rodeo, so he's got to go out and produce. It's going to be interesting to see kind of what they do to him, so the Panthers can take that film and watch it, obviously, and see what we can do to win that division. That's going to be one of the guys to get through. Now we're finally getting to the fantasy stuff, guys. That's all our key matchups for the week. Hopefully we gave you a little tidbit right there. Me and Cheese are only opposite on one of the key matchups of the, who did we say? Seahawks and Colts. I'm going to take the Colts at home. He's going to take the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Another interesting
about it, but I'm gonna take it.
interesting stat I just seen today is that the Colts have lost every single season opener since 2014. So I think like 7 years or 7 or 8 years. Something like that.
Good.
Might be 2012. I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to keep it because I think that's going to get broken this week. Okay? Get into the fantasy stats. These are all based on things I did over the summer to see who was the worst defenses, rushing, passing, all that stuff. So the first thing we want to talk about, I'm going to let Cheese take over with the running back spot. He does coach running back, so this is based on the stats. And number 2, as you see, Fournette versus the Cowboys was already kind of a bust. But again, it's based off the stats. Now, does that change everything? No. They were ready to fire it out. They threw 50-something passes. Of course, the running back's going to kind of suck. So that one was kind of a bummer. But we do want to give you guys fantasy stats and updates throughout the season. It's going to be week to week, but I'm not going to take any of the defensive games for the first 5 to 6 games, and then I might combine more stats based off of the summer and this. But Chiefs, go ahead and tell everybody who they need to be a safe bet. This is the safe bet. These ain't your guys that are like, oh, Christian McCaffrey, of course he's going to produce, right? These are guys that if you're in a dilemma and you're like, oh shit, who do I start? These are the ones that we think are going to be your safest bets. So Chiefs.
All right, so me. All right, so in my opinion, these are the guys like Cheetah said, a good little safe bet if you got them. I'm not saying these are the best running backs. I'm not saying this is your best bet. I'm not saying you're going to get the best points out of this. And when it comes to 1 through 10, it might be staggered. But like the research that me and that Cheetah has done over the last year, this is some good safe picks. You can take it, you can leave it. It's up to you. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. Now, James Robinson for the Jaguars versus the Texans. I got that number one. I think that is a good, very good, safe pick, especially against the Texans defense. I'm not going to get too far into the teams and why I think it. That's just number one on my list. Number two on my list actually wasn't Fournette. It was actually Randall Jones versus the Cowboys, but we've seen how that game turned out. Nobody wanted to run the ball. We talked about that. They wanted to pass it. That is what it is. But number two would be Randall Jones, even though they've already played that. Number three, Philip Lindsay. Philip Lindsay now for the Houston Texans now versus the Jacks. I think that'll be a good guy. Let's go ahead and start feeding him a little bit more. He's a guy that's already been in the league. He's already been successful in the league. All right, let's go ahead and get him some runs, and that's something that, I mean, what really does Houston have anyway? All right, go ahead and let him start running the ball and give you some points. Dalvin Cook versus the Bengals. Now, Dalvin Cook's offense is based on Dalvin Cook, or the Minnesota Vikings offense is based on Dalvin Cook being a top 3 running back every single year. If he's not a top 3 running back, their offense isn't good. So they're basing on that. So I would definitely put at the number 4 spot Dalvin Cook versus the Bengals. Number 5, Raheem Mostert versus the Lions. I think that is a very good, solid mid-range pick right now out of the top 10 that you can take that can get you some points that they're going to have to start feeding a little bit to start spreading that offense out. Number 6, let's go with Joe Mixon versus the Vikings. Okay, Joe Mixon versus the Vikings. Okay, they're going to have to establish a run game. Joe Burrow's not going to be able to sit there and pass it like we've seen Tampa Bay and Dallas do. All right, they want that eventually. Does he have the firepower on the outside to do it? Question mark for me. Maybe one guy, 1.5 type guys, but they're going to have to start feeding the ball to Joe Mixon.
I'm gonna hop in this and say Joe Burrow checked it down a ton at LSU to CEH. Yes. So I think Joe Mixon kind of tried to fit that mold, and Joe Mixon can catch the ball out of the backfield.
And don't think,
PPR is different.
Tackles every time when we're talking about running the ball, don't think that we're just running power or we're just running gap or we're just running inside zone. All right, these are guys that can get a little swing route, get a little hot route, check, and 60s protection, check. Linebacker doesn't come. He has a set route right in front of the middle line or in front of the center. Take it, gone. You got a first down with them. Okay. Number 7, Myles Gaskin versus the Patriots. I like this a lot. I might switch that with number 6 or even with number 5, but it's right now with number 7 with the things that we calculated. I definitely like that with Miami going against the Patriots. I like Myles Gaskin a lot. He's on my fantasy team. I think he's going to have a big year. That's something that you can look at for number 7. Number 8,
Shaquille. No, it's Saquon.
Shaquita. Saquon Barkley, okay, versus the Broncos. Okay, the Broncos has a very, very good defense, but he's going to be able to have to prove some things like Ryan said, a.k.a. Cheetah. Got to be outside the tackles. Now, he's also going to be good in some power concept and some gap concepts. I don't like it in the inside zone concepts because of how good Denver's defense is. But if they can get a pulling guard, if they can run a little counter and get a little bit of guard tackle pull type action, I like Barkley in that.
No one.
Number 9, what did I say? Tyson Williams, right? Yes, versus the Raiders. All right, they're going to have to be able to get that done. Almost kind of a little bit lower on the 10 type speed. I would almost pick that I'm about to say change it with number 9, but with what we got,
that's the number 1 fantasy waiver wire target you should have done. If people have not picked up Tyson Williams because they're like, oh, we're just playing fantasy this year, and you want to be a fantasy guru, that is one guy you need to try to find, and if he's not already gone. Nobody really knew about him.
But I'm telling you right now, number 10 is the sneakiest pick for me. I like Davis versus the Eagles. I like him. I like him a lot. I like the way he runs. I was a big type running back when I ran the ball in high school and college. I like it. They're going to have to give it to him. Now, that type of running back, do you slow down the offense? Do you have to make them load the box? And do you wear them out so the fourth quarter things start hitting on all cylinders? Yes, you do. I got Mike Davis at number 10 spot. versus the Eagles.
So that's our fantasy safe bets that we wanted to tell you guys. And like I said, Ronald Jones slash Fournette versus Cowboys. They didn't want to run the ball, so that one's already out the park. Some honorable mentions because of the defenses that are just atrocious. Obviously, King Henry. All right, I don't even need to talk about that one. They're gonna try to give him 20 plus
Yeah.
touches. Nick Chubb versus the Chiefs. The Chiefs are going to want to keep Patrick Mahomes off the field, so both those running backs probably going to get some touches. And then the third one, I think Antonio Gibson is kind of like a Christian McCaffrey-ish kind of receiver, can catch the ball and run through the hole. Okay, going to the wide receivers. Okay, that's my focal point. I love coaching wideouts. I love doing all that stuff. Okay, you're going to think I'm crazy, but number one wide receiver I think is going to have a great year is that Devontae Smith, former Heisman Trophy winner, going out there. Dallas Goedert, obviously, with the two tight end sets, he's going to have to check it down, especially if that O-line lets people get back to him. And I think that Jalen Hurts, obviously, I'm high up on him. So that's the receiving corps I really want to do. And I got a couple people, obviously, as wide receivers. You got 2 to 3 on the field at all times, so I'm just going to try to give you those names. Number 2 that I think is the safest bet is Michael Pittman versus the Seahawks. Seahawks were the second worst passing defense in the league, which is crazy to me. But Pittman is established himself as that number 1, especially with T.Y. being out, so that's going to be a safe bet. Other guys that's on the field, Paris Campbell coming off an injury, and then you've got Zach Pascal, who we already talked about. Okay, number 3, Debo and Ayuk for the 49ers versus the Lions. Lions have always struggled. They drafted a corner last year. He was supposed to be the man, and they still getting torched. So third
Yeah.
worst secondary in the league. And you know that the 49ers like to establish that running game. Mostert's on the running back. That's a safe bet as well. Just the Lions' defense in general just sucks, and they didn't really do anything to help it. Um, D-Hop versus the Titans. I think that they're going to have to come back versus a good defense, and D-Hop's that reliable number 1 receiver, and that's a pretty big name. But the Titans' secondary has improved, but they were the 4th worst. Then we get to the Jets. DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson. I think those two are going to eat just like CD and Amari Cooper did. Number 6, we got Cooks. Basically the only wide receiver for the Texans, and Tyrod Taylor's thrown to him, and they're playing the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we already know how Jacksonville is. That's a good little division.
Right? They got to throw it to somebody.
Yeah. And that's one of the guys that's always found himself on teams and done something.
Yeah.
And the Jaguars just trash. Anyways, so are the Houston Texans, so that's kind of wish-washy. But these are safe bets again. Number 7, we got Marquise Brown and Mark Andrews, the tight end for the Baltimore Ravens. Obviously, Lamar is a dual threat quarterback and likes to run a lot, so that Mark Andrews, he just signed a huge contract. I think they're trying to force feed him, but the Raiders' defense is very questionable. They could be pretty good. They could be really bad. So that's a safe bet. Number 8 versus the Vikings. Now, some of this I'm kind of iffy on because the Vikings, I think, did improve that defense from last year. They got some guys back from injury, all that stuff, and they used to be like a top 10 defense for sure. But I do think they establish, or Joe Burrow wants to establish the passing game with Boyd because obviously that's who we worked with, and T. Higgins has been that guy. Jamar Chase still on the cusp whether or not he's going to be getting in there a lot from all the drop balls he has. Number 9, I do think that Trevor Lawrence is going to get the ball to Chenault. We had a question in the chat about who should you start, OBJ, DJ Chark, or Swift, and I'm really thinking that OBJ was a safe bet for that. But if you had Laviska instead of DJ, it might be the opposites. But I do think Trevor's going to get those guys the ball. I love Laviska. I just do. He's just a big-bodied receiver that runs fast, physical, can catch the ball, high point, all that good stuff. And number 10 and 11, I'm just going to stick to number 10, but Jacoby Myers at the Dolphins. Dolphins corners want to be traded. So they're already asking for a trade to get out of the defense. They're falling apart. And I don't know really what that's from. Is it the coaching? Is it just the team in general? Is it the offense, like Tua being weird and stuff? But I think that the Patriots are going to have Mac Jones, and Jacoby Myers has established as the number 1 on that side. So, you know, he's going to be the only receiver they throw to. Honestly, I can't really name any other Patriots receivers besides Nelson Aguilar, who came from the Raiders. So you could maybe throw him in there. But those are the top 10 worst defenses from last year. Week 1 safe starts. Like it, love it, hate it, not, I don't care. I just wanted to give you guys some content, and these are based off the stats. Some honorable mentions for those. Obviously, the Chiefs versus the Browns. all those receivers. And then I had Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb versus the Bucks as number 12 overall, and obviously they went and balled the heck out. So that was a little check mark. And then I think Corey Davis versus the Panther. That's a sneaky one, just because I think the Jets are always going to be playing from behind, and somebody's going to have to step up for Zach Wilson. Um, so that's our wideouts. Okay, I'm gonna skip over the quarterbacks real fast, just because if based on the wide receivers, those quarterbacks should obviously be the ones throwing in the ball, right? So Jalen Hurts, my number one guy. Carson Wentz, I think that secondary for Seattle is a little bit beat up or not good. Jimmy G just versus the Lions. Kyler Murray versus the Titans. He's gonna have to put the team on his back. Sam Darnold, I think, is at number 5 spot, giving the Jets all they can handle. Tyrod Taylor's actually on that list just because they play Jacksonville. Tyrod's not the greatest quarterback ever, but just because they play Jacksonville, I think he's in that relevant, like, hey, this is a safe start.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson, obviously he's a dual threat. Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, and Mac Jones. Those are my top 10 quarterbacks going into this week. I'm going to take this list that I compiled and then see how accurate we actually were, where they ended up, all that good stuff, just so you guys know. Um, but that's going to do it for the fantasy stuff. All right, the last part of the show, which we are about to be coming to an end over here. We're going to go over the 6 packs of questions, then me and Cheese are going to make our picks for the week. First question. Jeeves, what do you think happens between the Panthers and Jets? Sam Darnold gets revenge with a revamped offense, better football team. Jets come into Carolina and pick up momentum they had towards the end of the season and get the dub. Darnold's still awful, but Panthers defense will put us in position. Or Wilson is a new era of quarterback. He comes in NFL ready. What you pick on that?
A and D. So much so I think the Panthers get it done with Darnold, but I also think that Wilson is kind of ready for the NFL right now. So that's an A and D type answer for me. But if I had to pick one, absolutely one for the test, I would definitely say A.
Yeah, 64% of people chose Sam Darnold gets revenge with the revamped offense, and 25% also said Darnold is offered, but the Panthers
Yeah.
defense will get him. So that's about, what is that, 70, 80, 90, almost 90% of people think
Yeah.
the Panthers will do that. Okay, who do you think wins the NFC North? Obviously, I know who you're picking, Packers. We got 96% saying Packers, and then the little love for the Vikings at 3% right there. Nobody else. Everybody thinks Packers for
Uh-huh.
sure. Vikings is gotten a vote.
No,
Okay.
I would take Green Bay on that one for sure. They've done it the past how many years? Yeah. So if it's not broke, don't fix it.
No. What happens with Deshaun Watson? 40% of people are saying, who cares? Houston is terrible even if he plays. 35% of people saying Houston sits him all year and doesn't let him play a down of football. And then 17% think a team will have a big injury and have to fork over some draft capital in order to acquire him. That'll be an interesting thing to see how that plays out. Um, for the
I go
Bengals,
last one.
what?
I go last one.
Who
I don't
cares?
think I don't think no no
Oh,
no. I don't think they sit them the whole time. I think they eventually want to get them because they're going to be so awful. But I think eventually they're wanting to get rid of them. Someone gives Houston enough cap to get rid of them.
yep. That could be. That's definitely a possibility because obviously he doesn't want to play for Houston. So why is he sitting on your roster taking up a spot?
Exactly.
Will the Bengals, Joe Burrow, be a contender in the AFC North? And is Burrow a top 10 QB? The people have said 39% a competitor, Heisman Trophy winner, and quarterback. He comes back on the field and he dominates. Definitely a top 14 quarterback. A close 33% says it's hard to recover from that type of injury. Bengals finished last and are still rebuilding. He's the bottom half of the QBs, so bottom 16. And then 21% of people say that division is one of the toughest in football. He gets pummeled again and then re-injures himself.
If he's healthy, he's top 15. If he's healthy. If he's healthy, I don't think he's by far top 10. I don't think he's a game changer. Not game changer. I don't think he's someone we're sitting there talking about as like a top tier guy. But I don't think he's in the bottom half if he stays healthy.
No. I I just think that division's so tough with the Steelers, the Ravens, and the Browns
It
now
is.
coming to life.
It
He
is.
just won't have a chance.
He was good before he got hurt though. He was putting some stuff together.
No,
He
he
was
was.
definitely
They
stuff
weren't
together
protecting him though.
at all.
Packers and Saints. Okay, who wins and how? 44% of people say Packers. The run game gets going with Jones and Dillon, and they control the tempo of the game. 40% also say the Packers. Aaron on his last dance with Adams, and they win by double digits. So no love for the Saints on that one. We got a lot of Packers fans in
No,
there in this
I wouldn't
thing.
say
Okay, and the last question for our six packs of question: who do you think will be the best quarterback in the league this year? 39% say Patrick Mahomes. 28% say Josh Allen. So the top two fantasy quarterbacks of this year's draft. Those two think that's going to be the best quarterback. We got some love for Aaron Rodgers as the third at 17%. And then we got Russell Herbert, Tom Brady, and Lamar getting a vote apiece. But
It's
majority say
it's
Patrick, Josh, and Aaron.
it's Rodgers or Allen for me. I love Patrick Mahomes.
Who do you
He's
think I'm gonna say?
Allen.
Dang right I am. I'm on the Allen train, son. I
Yeah.
just think he's a freak. Okay, but that's gonna do it for our six packs of questions. I'm gonna have Cheese start reading off all of our picks, or at least the games that we want to pick. All obviously we're gonna pick them all. So Cheese, go ahead, get that list out. Okay, if
All
you
right.
got use the ESPN app,
Yeah, well, I
pull
don't
the
have
thing.
that up on me right now, but it should be in order. Should be in order. The first game, I'm picking Seahawks.
I'm gonna
Okay.
take the Colts.
All right. Second team. Second. I'm going Jags.
I'm gonna take the Jags too. I bet on them this weekend. I
Oh, I
think
thought.
Houston sucks.
Yeah, they do. They do. I think Trevor Lawrence might show a little something. Third game, going Eagles.
Yep, Jalen Hurts show. This is the upset of the week. They are plus money right now, so just money line them mugs. Yeah, I think the
Fourth,
Eagles.
I am going Washington.
They're playing the Chargers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I'm taking Justin Herbert. I think that offense just got better, and their defense gets Derwin James as that safety who's been
I
hurt.
know.
I
I'm
think he's going
scared
to be the
about it.
game changer.
I'm putting
Oh,
my money on the D. I'm putting my money on the defense. I'm going Washington on that one. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Fifth one, I'm going Bills.
Bills at home versus the Steelers for sure. I'm taking Bills.
All right, sixth one, I'm going 49ers.
Yeah, Lions defense is atrocious. 49ers all day.
Seventh one, I'm going Vikings. Dalvin Cook helps control the game.
This was an interesting one, but I do think the Vikings should end up winning that point spread as well. It's at -3.5.
Panthers definitely beat the Jets. If they don't talk to me.
I
Panthers.
I gotta take my squad. They were -4.5 and it went down to 3.5, dude. So all the bettors are choosing that +4.5 for the Jets. That's gonna be an interesting game. I want to see what Sam Darnold does.
Next game, I'm going Titans on that one. See what the star power can do, baby. See what they can do. See what they can do. I'm going Titans.
I'm gonna have to go opposite on you on this one, I think. Or did I pick the Titans already?
It don't matter. You pick it now.
I'm gonna go with Arizona because
Okay,
I just
good.
think that the Titans start off slow early.
Okay. Next one, I'm going Chiefs. Chiefs are too strong right now, especially when it comes to Andy Reid. When it comes mentally, I'm going Chiefs.
Yeah, Chiefs, and they were only -6. I'll take that all day.
Dolphins take care of the Patriots. I think they send a rush on the new quarterback. Dolphins got a lot of young power. I'm going Dolphins.
There's some crazy stuff going on in Miami right now because we don't know really what's happening behind the scenes. And I think Bill Belichick made that a statement to cut Cam Newton. I'm going Patriots.
Okay, good.
Your camera went off on me.
Just kidding. All right, here we go. Next one, I'm going Giants.
There you got the Broncos. Ooh, yeah, this is another upset that I liked. I hate the NFC
I
East.
want it to be my upset. I want the Giants
No.
to be upsets because I don't like two glove Teddy.
I can't.
I don't like it.
I can't go Giants on this. I think the Broncos end up freaking playing more defense this year. I think their defense is healthy and they're pretty good.
Could be right on that one. It'd be extremely hard for him.
And
But
Danny Dimes sucks.
already said it. Yeah, well, so does two glove Teddy. All right. Next one, definitely going Packers. We already talked about it.
Yeah, Packers.
All right, two more. I'm going with the Rams.
That one's gonna be interesting. Does freaking Justin Fields get in the game at any point? Answer me that. Because as soon as he takes over that Bears offense, I think they're now potentially playoff material. And he's just a rookie, but that dude can throw the damn football. I'm gonna take the Rams just because their defense is locked down, and then Matthew
I
Stafford
don't
is a
think
huge upgrade.
I don't think. Hell, they could. I wouldn't bet that they put him in game one. I think they just ride or die with what they got and then evaluate it after the game.
Yeah.
So I'm going Rams. Last one. Raiders.
No, you did it. Oh, you taking the home team on Monday night and all those injuries. I'm gonna go Ravens. I think they're a better coach football team.
I don't care. Going Raiders.
And that's gonna do it, guys. I appreciate you tuning in. Hopefully you like this. Please come back for next week. We got Saturdays live talking to you guys about the week 2 matchups, all that stuff. We'll recap kind of what happened on week 1. It's gonna be a fun time. Hopefully you enjoyed this football content. But as always, we're keeping it real. We'll get the stats, and we're gonna give you the best content we got, man. Cheetah and the cheese.
Sir. Love y'all. Peace.
We out.
We out, baby.